As smartphones become smarter, so are homes through automation.
Everybody's got a little bit of a different idea of what home automation is. Historically, if you watch the movies, you'll watch the American multi-million-dollar homes where people walk in and they talk to the system and things like that. So people have always had this perception that home automation is for the rich and famous. So the idea that we've had is to bring home automation to the average person in South Africa and do it as affordable as possible. So home automation, to me personally, I started off and I just wanted things to be able to control it from my phone. So install a little Wi-Fi smart switch and I open my phone and I tap it and my lights come on. And that to me was home automation. That was the coolest thing I could ever do. And everybody that came to my home, I'm like, dude, check it this. You tap your phone and the light switches on and everybody literally goes, wow, that's like in the movies. But slowly as you progress through the systems and you start branching into more products and looking at more little things, you start realizing that home automation is quite a broad field. You've got light switches, you've got timers, you've got the voice activation systems, you've got smart speakers that can talk back to you and listen to certain commands and certain trigger words. Like the Google speakers, you've got a certain word that you have to say to activate her and then she'll do the command for you. Anything from what is the weather, set my alarm clock for me, set a timer, or my most important one is set reminders. Because there's so many times in a day, because there's so many things you're doing, and you get distracted and sidetracked, and the little things you forget. So as soon as you remember something, you just ask Google, set a reminder for this, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., do a quotation for a client.
Now, technology in general is always expensive, and in this case, is it the case?
You can go as expensive as you want. There's a lot of systems out there that are extremely expensive. A lot of the competing systems, like a starter kit, will start you off at 150,000 Rand. That's just for them to put their foot in the door. With our Sonoff products, the cheapest product is 120 Rand. And it's a basic inline switch. You connect it onto your bedside lamp, and it's just there to turn it on and off. But you can start your home automation journey with 120 Rand. And it's considered DIY. Literally clip the wire for your bedside lamp off, live and neutral in, live and neutral out. You don't even need an electrician to do something like that.
Now, what makes home automation such an important lifestyle that people need to experience?
Look, to me personally, it makes my life that little bit easier. And in today's lifestyles of being rushed and stressed and freaked out, and I suffer from stress badly a lot of the times because there's so many things you're dealing with. And to have something in your home that just makes your life that little bit easier, that saves you a few seconds here or a few seconds there. Something as simple as like walking into the bathroom and the light just switches on automatically, where you don't have to go and touch a light switch or press a light switch. Walking out, going to bed and just saying good night to Google, and she sets your alarm clock for the next morning. She tells you what's the weather like tomorrow morning, and then she turns the entire house off for you. So you don't have to stress and think, did I turn the kitchen light off? And then you'll drive yourself nuts for the next 5 minutes, and then jump up and go, look, if the light is off, okay, it was off, damn it, okay. So it's little things like that. I haven't touched a remote in my house for probably a year and a half. I haven't touched a light switch in almost a year because everything is with motion sensors. It just works. And you kind of get into that routine where you just expect it to happen. And when you're out of your home environment, it's very easy that your brain goes back to that mode and you almost feel out of place and almost uncomfortable when you're not in a smart home. So it's a fun thing to have, but it is just saving that little bit of time, saving that little bit of effort out of not getting out of bed to switch a light off and things like that, just so you can relax and just shut down for the evenings and things like that.
I'm Mpho Phalatse, your executive mayor for the city of Johannesburg. I'm a medical doctor by profession and the first Black woman to wear the mayoral chain in the City of Gold. After the first few months in office, it's a tradition to report back to your residents on progress made. In spite of the delays in formulating our multi-party government coalition, which is without doubt the largest this country has seen to date, I sit here today to report back to you on our performance during the first few months of our administration, the Golden Start. In our Golden Start, we addressed key areas that are broken and need fixing, and also aimed to achieve specific goals in order to get the basics right. The multi-party government approved a 77 billion rand budget. We've taken a tough stance against households, businesses and government departments who default on paying their municipal accounts. The city has approved the building of 10 new clinics to care for our residents. 1,800 new JMPD officers have been trained, and 1,100 new social housing units are being built. I also must acknowledge the brave men and women from our health services who led the fight against COVID-19. Without each and every one of you, we would have been unable to change the mask mandate and begin to return to life as normal. Our community clinics were an essential part of the fight against COVID. These clinics form an essential part of our healthcare arsenal and are often the closest to where people live and work. A full Golden Report can be accessed on the city's website, which is www.joburg.org.za. Well, as the new Joburg multi-party government, we laid out 7 mayoral priorities in line with what our residents asked us to do for them in this 5-year term. Our 7 priorities start with getting the basics right, getting the city functional again. That talks to the supply of energy, of electricity, water. Clean streets, roads that are tarred, and so on. So all the basics that will make it livable and a place to work and do business, but also a good place to visit for our tourists. Our second priority focuses on safety and security. And for this, what we promised our residents to do is to increase our boots on the ground in terms of the police force, but also to work in a more integrated fashion with other tiers of government and other law enforcement agencies. The third thing we promised our residents was to give them a caring city. That's a city that recognizes that not everybody in the city is the same. Some people will require a little bit of help. Some people are vulnerable and marginalized, and some people can't afford to live in Johannesburg. And so we've identified those vulnerable groups and we are assisting them through various modalities. The fourth thing we promised our residents is to be a business-friendly city. A city that's open to do business, that cuts the red tape and makes it easy for the business sector to interface with government. Then we promised them an inclusive city, and this is through the provision of different housing modalities, but also inclusive settlements that also have social and community development amenities. Our priority number 6 is for a well-run city. Focuses on financial sustainability, focuses on the city being corruption-free, and it focuses on us having the right relationships with the regulators such as the National Treasury as well as the Auditor General. And our last priority is to give our residents a smart city, making sure that Johannesburg is smart from the institution itself, that we're doing everything in as smart a manner as possible, and that we incentivize smart solutions from all our departments and entities, but also that everything that we roll out on the ground is smart.